Hey everybody, it's your boy SergDragon, and welcome back to another edition of the Heavens Monsters podcast. With me always is Terrence, aka T-Money.
If you smell what the lion is cooking.
Today we are falling behind, but we will cover it nonetheless on our reviews and our reactions for Full Gear and the week following of AEW All Elite Wrestling. So here we go. On November 9th, Saturday, we had the Full Gear pay-per-view in which we are covering, and this part I did not see because it was a preview. I didn't have the coverage of the preview, but hey. Okay. So the show starts with Bea Priestley and
Brie
Presley and
Dr. Britt Baker.
Britt Baker would be the winner, but lights go out and it's amazing Kong. Baker is gone, but the point, so Kong assaults Presley. In the result, Cody Rhodes' wife, alongside Amazing Kong.
Priestley. Yeah, Priestley.
No. Cody Rhodes' wife is working with Amazing Kong, and I saw this. Yeah, of course, we'll get into it. In which case, I saw this part in between the show where they mentioned it. I was like, what the? I don't remember seeing that. Dang it. There was more at the beginning. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, after the assault on Amazing Kong on Priestley, what was her name? Brianna Rhodes? Brandy Rhodes, thank you. Ended up taking a piece out of Priestley's hair and giving it to Kong, and she sniffs it like a prize. I'm like, okay, what the hell? Why is Amazing Kong sniffing hair? Then comes the part where I was watching. The show officially starts with the team formerly known as LAX, now Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz versus the Young Bucks, a feud that had been building up between the two and ultimately Proud and Powerful working with the inner circle of Chris Jericho. The Young Bucks, with their losing streak, would ultimately accept the challenge, trying to redeem themselves for the many losses they've been having since the premiere on TNT. Dynamite. Sadly to say, thanks to their cheating ways, the Proud and Powerful power-handed cheating tactics got the drop on the Young Bucks, and they go in, making Chris Jericho quite happy. Next match after that would be Hangman Page versus Pac. I'm going to try and skip it here, speed run this. Hangman Page actually beats Pac with a variety of moves because of the fact that Pac couldn't put him away. But then Adam Page got the job on. Next we have Joey Janela? Who?
Yeah, Joey Janela.
Versus Shawn Spears. The hell? I guess this was a match I wasn't acquainted with, but Shawn Spears wins.
You know who he is, right?
Who?
Ty Dillinger. Perfect 10.
Ah, that's right. I remember him. He came in there with a chair and pile drive the guy. Oh, it says a spike pile drive. Spears nails a C4 for the pin. I don't know what that is. He was very violent in that match.
Mm-hmm.
An interview. There we go. The triple tag team match for the AEW Tag Team Championships would now commence in this match. The defending champs SCU of Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian versus Private Party and versus the Lucha Brothers. In this match, it was fantastic. But in a quick pinfall, I guess you would call it a roll-up pin, you would have the SCU retain their titles, but the ones who got pinned was Pentagon Jr., and both the Lucha Brothers would not be happy, and the Private Party would be nowhere to be found after that. But surprisingly, the lights go out to reveal, I guess that's the second time, to reveal another Pentagon Jr., in which the commentators were calling him Pentagon Tres. After a surprising move that we all recognize from a certain somebody, after revealing their mask, it would be none other than the fallen angel, and back in perfect health after being attacked by the Lucha Bros, Christopher Daniels. That's the fallen angel. It's a finisher move that he's known by. That's what it was. And he celebrates with his retaining champions of SCU. Go ahead.
That's his new name.
Fallen Angel. Next, we have the women's championship title defense for AEW. We have Rio versus Emma Sakura, or Sakura. There's two ways to say it. In which case, we would have, basically, from what I understand watching the show, Emma Sakura is Rio's teacher. So it was literally apprentice defending the champion versus master, the number one contender. Everyone would probably think that the mentor was going to be the winner of this match, to be the second ever AEW women's champion. But sadly, for a lot of people who are quite happy, friend to Kenny Omega, Rio, the champion, defends her title against her former master and hugs her very joyfully, and knowing that she really did surpass her.
And it's also, Kenny Omega is also her master as well.
One of her mentors. Here we go. I thought this would be the main event, and I totally forgot that there was an unsanctioned match. So we'll get to that in just a bit. We got the world title picture between Chris Jericho, the defending AEW champion, versus Cody Rhodes.
Actually, that is the main event. They do things different than WWE.
It was one more match.
No. That's what it counts. There's two main events. According to the president, there's two main events. This one and that.
Yep. It was. I'm not going to say it wasn't. Because in this match between Cody and Chris Jericho, it was one-on-one with one, what was it? Jake Hager?
Jake
I was looking for it. Would be in the corner of Chris Jericho, while MJF, his best friend and loyal friend, would be in Cody's corner. This match would just get all bloody between these two. And Chris Jericho, in the last part, would put him in the Lion's Gates, or Walls of Jericho as we know it, but he renamed it. He really put it on his head. I mean, he put his weight where his neck was not looking right. And he was already battered and bloodied to begin with. He would not quit. So MJF throws in the white towel, symbolizing that his corner man would actually have to forfeit for him.
You know, that's two ways he does the Walls of Jericho. That we just saw on TV. And when you saw in WWE, there's two ways how he do it.
Yeah, but he squatted and he put the knee on the back of the head.
Yeah, that's how he does it.
That's when he really cranks it in. Yeah. Earlier in the match, Jake Hager was taken out because of interference and thrown out of the match, which was good. But thanks to the fact that MJF would actually go and do that for the betterment, and everybody, including the commentators, were saying that that was the best decision he could have made, because Cody was not going to quit and ultimately shorten or end his wrestling career with that Walls of Jericho or Lion's Gate. After that, many people were telling Cody, fuck him up, fuck him up, fuck him up. He just hugged him, and we were all thinking, because remember, ladies and gentlemen, Cody Rhodes said that if he didn't win this match, he would not go for the world title ever again. We don't know if that meant period, or as long as Chris Jericho held it. I'm thinking the latter, Chris Jericho holds it. Because after this, MJF, with sympathy in his eyes, quickly turns to his friend and kicks him in the nuts and slams him with his finisher, ultimately telling him that he is better than him, his trademark saying, which is followed by, and you know it. He went from favorite, lovable friend to bitter enemy and most hated person like that. Now that, whether you like it or not, is good story script that people live for to watch wrestling. And they made him a fan again. Hating him, but ultimately getting that reaction that new face heels really need to pop out. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Well, that's it. It's not most hated yet. You gotta go more years to be most hated person.
Well, he's the most hated that day, at that moment. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. You asshole. You asshole. Everybody was saying it. So now Cody Rhodes is walking by himself with his cohorts, Diamond Dallas Page, his wife, his brother, Dustin Rhodes, and all that. But then we get to the unsanctioned match that stole the show in its entirety, in which case we would learn later, thanks to the pay-per-view Full Gear, the ratings went higher than ever seen before, while NXT's ratings went low. And rightfully so. I didn't know why until I watched it, and oh my God, dude, I have seen so many new things in that match between this unsanctioned match between Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose in WWE, and Kenny Omega. Holy shit.
But you know why?
Did you see some of these scenes?
Yeah, but do you know why they beat AEW NXT?
They went ECW on that shit.
No. The reason why, because AEW just started. Mm-hmm. They still, and people like them more than NXT.
Yeah. And they really won them over with this match. This was straight up TV 14. Hell, it was ECW approved.
AEW is it? TV 14?
No. ECW. Oh, TV 14. Yeah, you got that right. They can cuss their mouth off on there. Yeah. In which case, we would have the match, and I'm just going to cover some of the things that happened. One, Kenny Omega introduced a golden chain that he used to choke and hang Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley brought in a barbed wire bat. Kenny Omega countered with the barbed wire broom, in which he used it to step on him on his back while Jon Moxley's belly was on the mat, and he freaking scraped him with the barbed wire. Ow! Thumbtacks was involved, and actually, correction, broken shard glass from the table that Jon Moxley freaking threw Kenny Omega into. He kept the glass! And he stomped on the glass while it was in the bag and just threw it around. And oh my God. Jon Moxley was in a submission hold and he was forced. He literally crawled on top of the glass, crossed the arena, the ring just to break the hold. And there is no break hold. There is no break hold. So he just used leverage to get out of it. Damn. Another thing was the fact that, what was it? I guess I'll forget this because I don't know what has, Kenny Omega's cut the face of Jon Moxley with a shard of that freaking glass. Then we had Jon Moxley. He was in the freaking palm of Kenny Omega throughout that match at one point. In which case, Kenny Omega, in his sick-mindedness, told his friends, the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page, to bring it. We didn't know what the hell was he bringing. The best I can describe it was it literally looked like a bed or a rectangle trampoline setup without the trampoline. Instead, it was a bed literally entirely wrapped and made of barbed wire. And Kenny Omega and Johnny Moxley were countering each other with the one wing angel, the DDT, and it just turned into a suplex where Jon Moxley threw himself and Kenny Omega into the bed. Oh, that was painful to watch. Holy shit. When they pulled, that was not fake. You cannot fake that shit. When they tried to pull him out, you could literally see the barbed wire cling as they were ripped off their flesh. Oh my God. Holy shit. That is an ECW. Oh my God.
And they did it too with Mankind.
And then there's like, I don't know, a ramp right there where they were at, and there was a spotlight covered with the glass piece of Full Gear AEW that Johnny Moxley was hanging onto, and Kenny Omega with the running knee into the face. They both go in, and Kenny Omega gets a full force of it, but John Moxley, with the least damage, drags Kenny Omega to the ring, starts pulling apart. He literally takes a blade and just starts tearing apart the ring, exposes the metal and the wood planks and the padding, and just DDTs, his signature DDT almost looks like a damn pile driver, his head into Kenny Omega. He fought so hard not to get hit, but he still got hit, and ultimately that would end the match. It was unsanctioned, meaning it will not go on record, and Johnny Moxley did not care. Who doesn't care? Everybody loved that match. And they were repeatedly saying, "You sick fuck, you sick fuck, please don't die, please don't die. This is awesome, AEW." The cheers were off the roof. Oh, man. Dude, I love that. Oh, my God, I love that. Damn. That was a good show. That was a good show. I'm glad I watched it. Holy shit. Damn.
I see why everybody like AEW more than NXT.
That definitely earned the ratings. So go ahead. That's the end of the show. Go ahead and look up what we had before. November 13th. Okay. Well, we'll be right back. Okay, go ahead and look up the information. While he does that, a shout out to our boys Xavier Hill, Mike Henry, and Andre Mitchell. A link to their YouTube pages will be in the descriptions down below, as always. And a remaining shout out to Renee, Chris Petrie, Pharaoh, and Delvin, to the remaining members of the Heaven Monsters podcast. You got it?
What were we looking for?
November 13th, AEW. We'll be right back. There we go. We now got the following episode of AEW following on November 13th. Let's go. We got John Moxley coming out to actually state an issue on how he knows that the match was unsanctioned, but he beat the living hell, and he gives mad props to Kenny Omega, and he has no problem fighting him again one day. But the fact is, he beat the golden boy of AEW, and says that there ain't nobody who's got the skills or the balls to fight him, and that anybody who does is a dead man. Ultimately, Michael Nakazawa comes out to challenge him and gets his ass whooped, if I remember correctly. Next up, we have a tag team match featuring Evil Uno and Grayson of the Dark Order versus the Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy of Jurassic Express. After the match, this would come back to haunt Marco Stunt, because while he was riding on Jungle Boy's back, running around the ring, he would literally stick the middle finger again, literally Jungle Boy walking by, and just every single member of the Dark Order, mainly the two tag team members and all the freaking creepos, the creepies, or whatever you call them, minions.
The henchmen.
Yeah. In this match, we would have the Dark Order win the match, and the big fat guy actually, I think that's
Boss.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think here. Creepers. Yep, they're called Creepers. Evil Uno was the mask guy, and he seems to be the head honcho of that group. In which case, he offered an opportunity to give a creeper mask to Marco Stunt, which he already had one, thanks to Jungle Boy stepping in, saving his butt, showing the Triceratops mask that he had, and saying who he really is. And because he declined, he would have Grayson and the rest of the Creepers jumped him. It was not even a 3-on-1. It was a freaking army versus two. In which coming to the rescue was a man who thought to be injured was now back. We got the Luchasaurus, the 6-foot man, monster of a man, coming in to whoop ass, doing moves that only freaking lightweights do. And he is just styling and profiling alongside his short stack Jurassic Express brethrens. Woohoo! That was fun. Next up, we have the native beast, the one that puts the fear in you.
No,
Nyla Rose. Nia Rose. It's spelled differently. Versus
Nyla. That's what it's called, Nyla.
Dina Jordan. And of course, as you figured, Nia Rose gets the win. Next, we have a Tony Scott interview with Ali.
Tony Scott interviews Ali. Ali.
Oh, Ali.
Yeah.
Oh, Ali. That's right. That's what happened. Ooh. We'll be right back. Run. I'm going to speed run then. He's right here. Okay, we have an interview with Ali. She looks forward to the future. We have Le Champion, Chris Jericho, and as his tag team was out next to address the public. Blah blah blah. Cody entrance. Oh yeah, that's right. We made an AEF. They pretty much have themselves a heel conversation where AEF was trying to see if he could. Was wanting to see if Chris Jericho wanted him. Chris Jericho was asking, do you want to join? Blah, 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 back and forth. Nothing was answered as to if JF, after his betrayal to Cody Rhodes, again saying that he's better than him and he knows it. And he says that he's better than Chris Jericho as well. And that they are very alike with the scars, with this, with that. Ultimately, it would take Cody Rhodes, battered and busted, with freaking scars still on his head, from the fight with Chris Jericho, ultimately comes out and gets jumped. It's far from over. Hangman Page versus the Bastard Pac in a rubber match as both men each hold a victory in the series. Yep. While Pac was brutally beating up Hangman Adam Page, he goes up high for the Black Arrow Phoenix, for whatever you call it, splash, and ends up hitting nothing but pavement and is brutalized by Page and then gets the win. Woohoo! Next, we have the Young Bucks getting interviewed against their brawl with actually, they were shown a backstage brawling with Santana and Ortiz. They're just getting in a fight. And it's not done. They're not done. They're feuded with each other. Not over. The main event, the tag team champions, the SCU, all three members formally back together, fight Chris Jericho as well as the Big Hurt, as he's being called, Jack Hager, and the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. Ultimately, in this match, the Inner Circle loses, and Chris Jericho is the one that gets pinned by none other than Samuel Sky, or how you even ever say Scorpio Sky. And they are losing it. They're like, I pinned the champ. I'm in the champ. And Chris Jericho swings the chair saying, no, 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 no. And that ends the show. I'm SergDragon. This is T-Money. If you like the show, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Hit the subscribe button, like the content, and hit that notification bell for the next Heaven's Monsters podcast. We'll try to cover Raw and NXT this Friday, and hopefully we can cover 2 episodes of Impact in addition. I'm going to have to see if I can finish early fast. So we'll see. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.